blessed with a championship prosperity the likes of which we have never seen, cursed by a past riddled with despair. This is Blursed.
Oh, hey, welcome back to Blursed. It's your boy, H-Cum, once again, joined with Aaron and Blake. How's it going, guys?
I like the new introduction of H-Cum.
It's the NPR
Yeah,
style.
It's funny,
Big
as
fan.
2 weeks ago, our last episode, when I had to do the opening, I was kind of nervous. Like, it's a lot of pressure, I feel like, to start. And then you
Yeah.
just started like that, like, hello.
Try to
He's
mix
an
it
old
up.
back
pro
here.
at it,
Hey,
man.
He is.
Just
dude.
a conversation.
It is
Just
That's
three
right,
friends
that's all it
talking
is.
with
Yeah,
millions
that's-
of other listeners.
Yeah, millions.
Yes.
Mil-
Blurst
I
Nation.
assume. I don't look at our
Yeah.
statistics, but we're at least
No need.
at around 1 million.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had a little break there. How was y'all's past what 2 weeks?
It was good.
It's a battle. It's a battle out there.
It is to be a battle, but it was good. I went to the Braves game, which is why we took a week off.
Huge.
But it was awesome. What a game. Yeah, it was my first time going to Truist.
You went on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, so it was Charlie Morton versus Scherzer. I'll say right now, like, the Battery and Truist that's a vibe. Wow, it's awesome.
Wow, that's incredible. That's the first time you've been over there. I guess
Yeah,
you just got down to Atlanta earlier this year, so that makes sense.
I've been to 20 or so Braves games at Turner Field, and it just when they moved to 20, I guess it's 2017 when they moved, I was almost finished with college, and so I was pretty broke, and that was a long drive to go all the way over to
For sure.
Cobb County from Athens, and so yeah, no, it didn't make sense time wise, but yeah, I'm super glad I went. It was not my first time at the Battery, but it was my first time going to a Braves game and at Truist, and it was I want to go back.
It's
I'm
state
ready
of
to
the
go back.
art. It's fun
Yeah.
for all ages. But yeah, I haven't gotten to go this year. So
And the pitch count, like, I know people complained about it. I loved it. Oh my god, especially with, like, they scored. I mean, the final score of that game was pretty high.
That one was.
We
what
walked
was
it off
that
in the
one?
8th, I guess. It's not really
Was
walked.
that the,
6-4
like-
or something like that.
It might have been higher than that, but
I
yeah,
think it was like 9-5 or something like that.
let me
wasn't
see. It was
What a way to
seven-
make a
No,
living.
that was the
close. Yeah, 7 to
what was it?
5.
7-5. There we go.
But that game started at 7:20, and we didn't walk out of the stadium until 10 o'clock. So it's still like right at 3 hours
Yeah.
almost. And at that point, like, I was like, that was not long enough for me. Like, I like the pitch count. Made the game go so much quicker.
I've been a huge fan.
Especially on a weekday game, right? Like you
Exactly.
don't want to
Yeah.
be there until 11 o'clock
Yeah,
when you
exactly.
have work. It's like, school night.
And
you got to go
if
to
the
work
game
in the
goes to
morning.
11, you're stuck there till midnight or more trying to battle traffic. Like, we were able to
Yeah.
get home by
Oh,
11,
God.
so it timed
Especially
out
like,
perfectly.
yeah, you've got to go over to the east side there,
Although-
or northeast.
My main complaint with the Battery is the whole like ride share situation. It is a shit show every time.
Mhm.
So the secret is you can like walk down the street, like across the bridge, and there's a hotel that's somewhat close.
And you can get picked up there?
Yeah, just go to that parking lot, and then you'll get picked up like that because you don't get in the mix. So you have to walk a little bit, but it's way
Yeah,
quicker,
not bad.
way
It's
less
worth it.
hectic. If you're
Yes.
trying, especially if you have people that don't like a crowd with you. So that's
Mm-hmm.
my go-to technique.
Yeah,
Yes.
shout out, my boss gave us tickets and parking pass with it, and so
That
we
is
parked,
sick.
Parked right at B9. We walked right across.
B9.
B9's right there. Walked right across the bridge, and we were
Benign.
there.
But 9.5.
Oh,
They were benign parking lot. What's crazy is all those parking lots are like for companies during the day, and they open at a certain time because they gotta get all of those people out of there.
Yeah.
And so if you worked on those companies, you're probably like, I'm leaving 4:30 today, and no one blink an eye.
yeah, right. They got to get you out of there.
Gotta get out of here. Braves play tonight. Go
The
Braves.
Braves are playing tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus. Don't
Big
mess
I
time.
get stuck
around.
on this. Yeah. It's cool. But yeah, it was a great time. How are y'all doing? What'd you jumping up to?
I had
Well, so
a,
for me, go ahead, Hayden.
I had my birthday. I turned 30, and then I hurt my
That he
back
did.
again. Then
It's because
yeah,
you're carrying this team.
tried to do some yard work, and then boom, back out of action again. So
Yeah.
then yesterday, actually this past weekend, so it's Taste of Fort Collins was going on, and
Nice.
so we paid to see All American Rejects on Saturday, which and Lil Jon
see my
yesterday,
face up against
but the
your
weather was
face?
so bad we didn't get to see either of them.
Ah.
Yeah, so we went to a bar yesterday afternoon instead of seeing Lil Jon, and everybody was it was packed like because everybody was expecting to be at this festival when it was like downpouring, like
Pouring,
torrential.
Yeah.
And so you'd hear the random, yeah, okay. So yeah,
That's good.
It was cool, as Lil Jon would say. It was okay.
I'm glad
Yeah.
y'all salvaged it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to make
absolutely,
the best of
absolutely.
it.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I've had something happen over here in my personal life that is huge. Probably something that not a ton of folks listening have to deal with, but something that I've probably brought up on the podcast before because it's happened a couple times now.
Oh.
But we got AC back, folks. That's right. I'm sitting right in front of a vent that's blowing cold ass air on me right now. And that's a luxury that the Mott household has not had in quite some time.
Dude, how long have you not had AC for?
No, well, so last summer was the bad one, and then we
Okay.
got it fixed, but it took us till the end of the summer to get it fixed. So it was the worst summer of my life because I didn't have AC in the house or my car. But anyway,
So just everywhere was hot.
Fuck, man.
yeah,
And you're hot at work
I thought I was
too.
gonna
No,
die,
no
yeah.
reprieve from it. You
No,
have to
just
leave your
everywhere.
hot house, get in your stuffy car
Yeah,
in the
there were
middle of
so many
Georgia summer.
days. Yeah, Andy and I would have to just go sit out in the backyard because at least being out in 90-degree weather where the air is at least moving and ambient is better than being in like an 85-degree house where it's completely still and nothing is moving at all.
So
That's
if you live
true.
in Cobb County and you saw Aaron and his roommate hanging out like at the entrance of Walmart where those fans are just beating down on you really hard, that's why.
Why didn't we do that?
Why didn't we do
That's
that?
a big idea.
They were just
That's
playing the
so
claw
cute.
machine in there, acting
Yeah.
like they were
Yeah, right.
doing that for hours. They were
But
actually
yeah,
just
shout
getting some
out-
AC.
Shout out Andy though. We finally got a brand. So it broke again this summer. We've been blessed by having not that hot of a summer.
Oh, it's
to
been
start
cool
with.
so far. Yeah.
Yeah. So that it really hasn't been that bad this time. But we got a whole new AC system for the house.
Hell yeah.
So yeah.
About to have to do that on the new house.
Did you call Ari and
expensive.
what are those guys
Yes.
that commercial that you hear in 99 all the time? I'm Ari and that's Dan and we're What is
I don't
it?
remember. I know who you're talking about, but
Yeah.
I guess it's not that good of a commercial. I
It's
can't
not.
remember.
I can't even remember it. Ari.
No, shout out to Bartlett Heating and Air down here in Cobb County.
Whee!
Boom.
They sent Andy actually a little care package after the install, which I guess when you buy probably like the most expensive thing they could sell. But yeah, they could send you a lunchbox with some cookies.
That's
in it.
customer service though.
I was gonna
it
ask
is,
what
yeah.
they sent.
Yeah.
Did they send you like little battery powered fans that like
Yeah,
you take
right?
with you?
Yeah, no, it was actually pretty sick. They sent him like a lunchbox that he could like use, like an actual functional lunchbox, and then in it was a big sleeve of like cookies.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Yeah, it was
Hey.
pretty sick.
That's all like those guys eat a lot of cookies.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We need to send
Yeah,
our
they- they
listeners
do.
some gift packages. I guess.
Absolutely, that's what we need.
What kind
Yeah,
of cookies
everyone,
you guys
everyone
like?
comment your address in the
Yeah.
comment section on YouTube.
Leave your
Yeah.
social as well
Yeah.
while you're at it.
I'll hit him up. Maybe Bartlett becomes our first sponsor. Who knows?
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
That would be sick. That would be
Anyway,
sick.
all right, you guys want to get into some spurts?
Let's get into some blurs.
Yeah.
Worst of the week.
Feels so good to be back. I want to start off
Please
because
do.
so Aaron made it very clear that if we lost the game Wednesday, it was my fault because I went to the game. And my wife on the way there, she goes, I've never been to a sporting event where the team's lost, like the team I'm rooting for.
What?
Oh,
And I was like, I'm hearing what you're saying, and I'm happy to have you. It's good luck. But the fact you just said that now is gonna have Aaron. And like we
Yes.
lose. I'm not to mention this, and Aaron's gonna be like, it was her
Yes.
fault. She
Yeah.
did this because of the.
It was a
what is
counter
it?
curse.
It was a counter
curse. She
curse,
did
right?
great.
You would think she would curse us, but no, she's apparently any professional team that she's gone to root for, they've won that game. And so
Hell
it
yeah.
continues on. But I thought it was be a blurst moment because when she said that, I was like, and then we were down most of the game. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. And I got superstitious and I was like, man, the jinx, I don't even believe in jinxing. And Aaron's coming, like making me believe in jinx right now. And
Yes.
she's like, see, I told you to have faith. We won. And I was like, yeah, you got me. Like,
You guys got to get season tickets now. That's like
Yeah,
I was
you can't miss
convinced
a
of that
game.
growing up because like I think like the first 15 games that I went to, Braves games that I went to, we won just somehow.
Mhm.
15 in a row.
I mean, yeah, like every game I went to growing up through my childhood, like we did
Oh,
not
got
lose
you.
until I was
Yes,
like
sick.
graduated from college somehow. I don't know. So I was convinced like, all right, I just got to get season tickets and we'll win a World Series. Didn't have to, but we still won a World Series. I'll take it.
One of my
yeah.
favorite Braves memories as a child was my dad, us being from North Georgia and it being like an hour and a half to get to the stadium or more when it's a weeknight. He tried to get me down. He got tickets to this game. He misses the turn, and if you're trying to Turner Field, if you miss your turn, you're stuck on an 85 going south.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
it's
you're
not
going to
easy.
the airport.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
missed the turn,
exactly.
and we listened to the first, I think, 4 innings in the car. And
Oh,
every
no.
inning, all the scoring happened in the first 4 innings. And we got to the game, and it was 7-3, and the Braves won 7-3. And we just never saw anything happen
boy.
for the rest of the game.
Ah,
But it was a good memory, the fact that we could laugh about it in the car, and he tried.
Yeah, no, that's
brutal.
good though.
You got to live in Atlanta to know that one.
Oh yeah, big time. But yeah. Hey, you want to go next? You want me up?
I'll go.
right.
I'll say, I don't know a ton about it, and don't press me on any details because that's how little I know about it. But how Blursed is Rory McIlroy. Rory?
Or Tiger as well.
Any of the guys that stuck with the PGA that got fucked out of a ton of money because they were like the poster kids of PGA. And then PGA caved and like basically stabbed them in the back immediately just to make sure that they stayed relevant. Which
it was like it was $800 million.
They basically told the players, "Hey, stick with us. Don't take the money," only to turn around in less than a year and take the money themselves.
Yeah. I actually heard more about this today. Like I was listening to a podcast talking about the Live Golf PGA and what was happening. Apparently, PGA had so much money tied up in the legal battle against Live Golf over this whole thing that they were running out of like cash, like actual cash.
Wow.
So they really didn't needed a partner, and so Live was like, "Look, we'll just give you all of this money." And now Live has like they can decide who else can invest. They own golf now. Like they actually like the PIF owns golf. And I feel bad for Tiger and Rory who stuck by the PGA when PGA was talking about all these things they did. And then the PGA is like, "Oh, we got new information." And it's like, well, what about the 2 guys that turned down $1 billion almost? Like I think Tiger
combined
offered $800 million.
Yeah.
Did you guys
Tiger
hear
was
about
$800 million alone?
The guy on the Asian tour?
No.
Did y'all hear about him?
Mm.
He's the most popular golfer in the world. I couldn't tell you his name. I need to go look that up. But he's the best golfer on the Asian tour. Yeah. I don't watch a lot of Asian golf, but yeah, he was offered, I believe, the same amount of money as Tiger.
Oh wow!
And he also turned it down to stay with the Asian PGA Tour, and now the same thing has happened to him.
Is he?
Look it up.
Is it?
Yeah.
Kanyana Takumi? Is he from Japan or is he from America? There's Ogletree Andy, which apparently is the #1 golfer in the Asian tour right now.
Andy Ogletree is his name, but no. That's
Andy Ogletree.
You said
Ogletree, I
Andy.
see. It's Takami Kanyana. Okay, the names are just front and backwards. I see.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I'm gonna hear.
I'll figure it out.
But yeah, either way, that happened to him, and I didn't even realize they had an Asian tour. To be honest with you, so it was part of the PGA. But there's a ton of people in Asia. That's why, like, I think it's like you've probably never heard of the most popular beer brand in the world. I think it was Snow Beer. Probably never heard of that, right?
Nope.
Yeah, it's because they sell it in China, and so yeah, they get the most sales based off their country. I mean,
a lot of people. I mean,
the Asian tour said is a great result. PGA and Live Golf merging.
Yeah. Wow. Well, everybody wants that Saudi money, huh? Oil money. Love it. Doesn't fund anything bad or anything.
No, definitely not. I don't think they've ever had a human rights violation over there.
Did you see like the Brooks Koepka comment? By the way, like he's like the cover child for Live.
Live, yeah.
They just have him doing a press tour, and he says like it's time to forgive Saudi Arabia for the families affected by 9/11 to forgive Saudi Arabia for their role in 9/11.
That was bad.
I mean, dude, what in the world? Like, talk about just being clueless. Like, has no idea what's going on outside of his pocket.
Did you hear?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it might be that's an optimistic look of it, Hayden. It might be that he knows exactly how wrong it is what he said, and he's just looking at that checkbook.
That check, yeah, could be. Did you see? So the Jay Monahan, who's the PGA, I guess he's in charge of PGA. He said, "I recognize everything I've said in the past and my past positions. I recognize that people are going to call me a hypocrite. Anytime I said anything, I said it with the information I had in the moment." What changed? Like, what information changed in this moment to make it where now it's okay?
Money,
Wow.
please.
Like that's such an awful quote.
Let this be a lesson to everybody. Take the fucking money. Take the money. Because
Just take it.
if you do not just give blind loyalty to who you work for, because that's just not the move. Bet on yourself.
But yeah. Okay, so I guess that's over here up to Daddy then, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so mine, surprise, is going to be United related, but that's because we're going to talk a little bit more about Messi when it comes to talking soccer later. So the blursedness of it is pretty much, it seems to be the pinnacle of the Gonzalo Pineda reign here in Atlanta. The best he's been able to do is be completely underwhelming in one game, and then the next game beat an inferior opponent, and then the next game somehow have an even weirder result. And I'm talking about our midweek matchup against LAFC. I don't have to say much more than I stayed up till midnight when I had to work the next day to watch this game end in a 0-0 draw. I did. It hurt. But also the thing that hurts more though, Blake, ever the optimist, when he and I were talking about it, he was like, okay, look, I mean, LAFC's the defending champions. They may win the CONCACAF Champions League, and they're looking to be the best team in the league again. And you earned a 0-0 draw with them at home. The way I look at it is, we have a higher payroll than they do. We have the best player in the league talent-wise. And given that, if you go to LAFC and at their home hold them to no goals, you've got to win.
Like you need that point.
You have to win that. Yeah, like if you're lucky enough to somehow not let the ball slip past your keeper against LAFC at LAFC, and you think you're a good team, then you have to win. Yeah. Now, if it had been a 4-4 draw, I would have been much more optimistic like you, Blake.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
The fact that it was 0-0, that's just a wasted opportunity right there.
I mean, I'm kind of okay with going right into United too. There's a lot to talk about United-wise.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we're good.
United.
Hell yeah, Hayden.
So to answer like what you said, the part that's like the hardest to look at is if you go look at the stats, we outpossessed them, but we only had 4 shots on the game, 0 on target compared to their 22.
Now
they had 8 on target.
That is by design. So they play the brand of football that I love to play. It's how I play on FIFA. It's what I love to watch, and it is counterattacking. Now, the possession stats aren't always in favor of the other team because sometimes LAFC just dominates that too.
Right.
But when playing against another talented team like Atlanta, LAFC wants to invite you into possession. They want you to have the ball because they know as soon as they dispossess you, they're off to the races, and they have the best counterattack in all of North American football. I'll go ahead and say that. And so, yeah, it's very difficult to stop them like that. So they're fine with it. With you can have all the possession you want. And it showed in that game based off the shot statistic that you saw.
Right.
How can you have more possession and have 16 less shots? Did you say 20?
They had 20 and we had 4.
Yeah. So how can you have 16 less shots when you had more possession? Right.
Yeah. Or it should be close at least. Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing is I think we got lucky as a tie. And I think which was very surprising to me is you had Brad Guzan actually play a good game, which has been a little bit like he'd been hurt.
Ooh, that stung to hear. I'm not disagreeing with you.
I know it. I hate saying it, but then he has back-to-back great games. He played fantastically over the weekend. So, I mean, he got back on track because he had we'll just call it what it was. Like he had a poor showing against, who was it before LA? New England. Like that 3-3. We should have won that game. Like we should have beaten.
We should have won it 3-0.
Yes,
because their 3 goals were all 3 mistakes by Atlanta.
Yeah,
and every single one of them.
And that's the thing about Atlanta right now. If you like,
maybe 3-1, maybe that last goal. But
the nice part is we haven't lost since May 13th, so it's been a month since we've lost. Basically, it's a month to all the listeners. If you're listening right now, it's been a month. But the sad part is during that time, you also probably could have won 3 more games.
Yeah. See, getting a point when you draw is nice if you sandwich it between 2 wins, or maybe even a win, draw, loss. You know, then the draw it nets you out. But when you have what I think we had 4 draws.
We've had 4 draws.
Yeah, we had 4 draws in a row before winning against DC United on Saturday, and so that's 4 points out of a possible 12.
Yeah.
if you look at it like that, and that's bad.
Yeah,
Okay, that's like if you lost to Drew and won.
Well, the difference is between would be second to fifth. Like we would be in second place right now if we just won 2 of those games.
Yeah.
Like that's how good Atlanta's been. Like even with us tying 4 games in a row, we're in 5th place by 4 points. If we just won 2 more games in that stretch, we're in second place by a good bit.
And let's touch on it just a little bit here. I don't want to talk about it a lot because I'll pop an aneurysm. But I think the week we took off was when we would have talked about the game against the game that we ultimately tied 3-3
against Chicago.
Against Chicago, yeah.
I
think that was what we didn't talk about. So Atlanta goes down early 3-0, I'm sorry, 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then we make a miraculous comeback in the second half to actually go up 3-2 on just an incredible goal from our backup striker, Miguel Berry, only to, in the very last second of the game, not put pressure on the ball.
And this was New England. This was the New England.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of New England. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Not Chicago, New England. And a good New England team.
Yes, they're ahead of us. They're
very good. Yeah. But anyway, I said all that just to say, we don't put pressure on the ball at the end. We give a guy a wide open look at the end of regulation. And what does this professional soccer player do? Hey, Barry's in the top 90 in the net. Go figure.
Yeah.
And you feel like a loss. I mean, that felt like a loss, and it really was.
Well, especially when you look at the stats, and like this shows you even why it's more painful to see the LA game. And it's good for us LA wise though, because we had 20 shots in this game. New England had 5. So New England had 5 shots, 3 on goal, all 3 went in. We had 20 shots, 7 on goal, 3 went in. We tie. We outpossessed them 72 to 28%.
Yeah.
We dominated New England and we tied. Like those are issues. And I know Pineda came out like he was mad after the game, and he should be. Like that's embarrassing. That's an embarrassing. And like he's lucky how talented the team is right now.
Yes,
because otherwise
he needs to be. He can say sorry, Blake. I was just gonna say
you're good.
He can look no further when it comes to blame than the person that is 6 inches from him in the mirror. Okay, because this, like you just said, there's no excuse. Could you imagine? I mean, this is like if the Yankees or the Dodgers were in last place. Now, I'm not saying we're in last place, but you see what I mean? The 2 highest payrolls, it's like if they were underachieving that much.
I was going to compare it to a team that's underperforming and owned by a billionaire and has the highest payroll in baseball. But I hate bringing it up. But yeah, it seems a little Metsy to me.
We're the Mets. Yeah, we're better Mets, though. We're better Mets. Well, because we are at least
Mets are 10 games back. But so hard to compare.
All right,
but it's true though. No, but the Mets have the biggest payroll in all of baseball, and they're under 500, and we're not under 500, but we are underperforming.
We're in 5th. Is that right?
Yeah, 5th.
Okay, so I mean, I'd say, given the disparity of amount of games in the 2 sports, that the likelihood of going from 5th to 1st would be close. Maybe not the same, but close to being 10 games back at this point in the season in baseball.
Yeah, it's close. It is close. Because we are technically 4 games back from Cincinnati in first.
Yeah,
like we'd have to win 4 games and they'd have to lose 4 games. Not even good ties. Like
exactly. That is. I'm glad you brought that up. That's something that's hard for people new to soccer to kind of wrap their heads around, or at least it was for me and a few people I've talked to. Is since it's a point system and you're just looking at that points number, you look at it and you're like, oh well, we're only 10 points away from first place. Right, that's only 3 wins and a draw. Yeah, and it's like, okay, but all the teams between you in first place, they're also playing games in that time span.
Yeah, they got to lose. They got to lose.
They all need to lose. Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, I think Pineda, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Aaron. I think these next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, he's got to win probably 4 of them going into the transfer window, just so he's comfortable at his job
because there's that huge break, that month-long break that we're going to take to not. I mean, they'll still be playing, but they won't be playing MLS games. They'll be playing that weird tournament with the Liga MX, which I am excited to see.
It'll be cool.
Yeah, but anyway, so there's that break, and man, that'd be a real good time to fire a coach.
Yeah, and, especially if he's underperforming.
Get somebody in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just think his time in Atlanta is running out. He said something that I wish he would have said before the game, but it just shows my thoughts of how he is as a coach. In that, did you see what he said? Excuse me.
I
Did you
didn't
see what
see
he said
this
after
one.
the game?
Mm-mm.
After we beat DC 3-1, he came out and said that was a must win. He said it after we won 3-1. Yeah, calling a game a must win is something you say prior to.
That was a must win, guys.
Yeah, at least if you want it to mean something.
And we won it. And we won it.
Got a
Yeah,
new
that
marketing director over
game
there.
was a must win. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it sure was, Gonzalo. But yeah, I mean, and I'm even a little salty, Blake. Did you watch the game?
Yeah, no, I actually did.
And, this is me, of course, being a very critical here, in a 3-1 victory. But the one goal that we let up, that was a classic Gonzalo Pineda team careless goal. It was just like the 2 goals that we let up against New England.
That's the hard part about it, and why you can actually blame coaching and I'll be like, well, it's player let down. It's because the way teams score against us is consistent. It is being consistent.
If Gonzalo's, if his team was set up and did things technically sound and they still allowed goals, then you can say it's on the players. And I'm not saying it's not at all on the players. And it's
right, because
they do share half the blame. Yeah. But that's why I'm saying it's only half, because what happened was our very, very talented midfielder, young Franco Ibarra, he makes a great play to start, a great individual play, right? Mm-hmm. He steals the ball in midfield. He looks ahead. He smartly realizes there are no options going forward. He turns around to pass it back. However, the center back that he would be passing it to in a normal formation is not standing there. And he carelessly, absent-mindedly passes the ball there. It's like when you press X on FIFA.
You just kind of too many times. You're trying to make a steal
So he turns around and hit and kicks the ball back to where he thought a center back was and who wasn't there. Guess who was there? 3 DC United players. And one of them grabbed the ball and they sprinted towards Brad Guzan, and there's nothing Brad Guzan can do against a 3-on-1. And they slot the ball in the left corner and it's 1-1.
And another argument too is like ways we have scored this season. Like a lot of goals have come off free kicks. And I'm not trying to say that I know free kicks is something we practice with Pineda, but also the guy who's taking the kicks is the guy like scoring these shots.
Well, okay, not at all. I know I will disagree with you a little bit.
You'll give him some credit for the half wall.
Well, I'll give him credit for that, because that is creative and that is smart. And I'm not sure he's the one that came up with that, but he's the head coach and he gets the credit. Yeah. I'm willing to say it. All right. So, but I'd say half the free kicks have come from direct free kicks that we've scored, or set pieces. You know what? I take that back, Blake. Set pieces, we've scored the majority of them from headers in the box.
Right.
Now that is good setup. That is.
And he's done a great job on the offensive side when it comes to free kicks and for
Let's just keep him as the special teams guy, and then
there we go. Yeah,
bring in somebody else for game day strategy.
But to your point though, Blake, on the direct free kicks that Almada and I think Brooks Lennon scored one as well, I believe, in a game. Yeah, we've had about 4 of those, I think, and so that's got to lead the league.
It's super high.
It has to. But anyway, yeah, you're right though. Those aren't really Pineda. That's just an individual.
It's just individual, yeah. And we've won games because of those. And I'm not trying to discredit Pineda anymore. I'm just saying, like, if you can see some flaws in the defense and you see some goals that we've gotten that aren't necessarily Pineda's coaching.
And one last thing before we move on to the Messi stuff that I want to point out about Pineda.
The Messi stuff.
All right, we'll just keep.
Things are already messy. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. And it's something that I just had a light bulb moment right here. And it's, do we remember when Tata Martino was the head coach and all the players after those wins or in the off season talking about stuff? I remember so many of them. I learned a lot about how Tata Martino likes to play the game of football based off of the players saying, "Oh, Tata taught me this." Right. I remember Julian Gressel, great winger for us. I wish we'd never let him go.
Dude,
Julian Gressel. Oh, by the way, is going to be on the USA men's team. Yes, homegrown. He got the call up to the USA men's team for the Gold Cup. By the way, that was announced today. But anyway, Julian Gressel, he said, Tata taught me something that I'll use for the rest of my life that seems simple but isn't. He said, if you've got the ball and you have grass in front of you, run into it. He said if there's a space of field in front of you and you have the ball, run into that space.
Yeah, take free
and
space.
It's so simple.
Simple, yeah.
You take the free space because what that does is it makes the defense come out of shape to collapse around you, and
opens
then
up someone else.
You can find other spaces. That person then takes the ball and goes into.
And this is a professional player who's teaching, and it sounds so simple. No, 100%.
And you know what? I've never heard any of them say about Pineda anything like that. I've never once
taught me this.
Yeah, I've never once heard him say, "Oh, well, I learned that from Gonzo," or I learned that,
It's actually in a parallel to different Tata won championship, but I mean, we can say Quinn Snyder has been a proven great head coach somewhere else. Similar stuff with Hawks players talking about Snyder. Oh, Snyder taught me that. Quinn taught me that. Quinn wants us to do this. Quinn, you never heard that once with Nate McMillan. You never heard anything like that. So, I mean, there's something different between a coach that's actively coaching and a coach that, you know what I mean? There's just a difference.
I do.
I don't know how best to say it.
I think it's also a point of like, I mean, it comes to any sort of management across any professional setting. It's about like, a bad manager is someone that like assumes that his people, that their people know what they know.
Yeah.
And you ask them to do a job and you're assuming that they know how you would do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how Pineda coaches. Whereas Quinn Snyder and Tata Martino, is very clear that they explain what they know and what they want you to do without assuming that you already know it.
Yeah. No, I mean, the key to coaching really is how can you teach people things and learning how to teach the players you have, because every player is different too. I mean, they all learn differently. No, I'm right there with you, man. And I want to see it work out for the guy, but you have 6 games for me to prove it. And if you don't win 4 of these next 6
in between the break now, in the break.
Okay. Yes. And I just think you gotta go in the break hot. Like you gotta go in on a winning streak, or just 4 to 6. Give me 4 to 6 wins, or if they're not wins, like let me understand why. You know what I mean? Like, because if we have ties like we've been having, or God forbid if we have losses that could have happened, I'm going to be fuming.
Well, the losses are going to be losses we can afford, but the wins are going to be must wins, if you ask him. That's like from the old.
That's learning.
That's the coaching school of how to keep your
we
job
can afford
longer.
To lose that one.
That's like Kirby saying, "Oh man, it's hard to win in the SEC after we barely beat Missouri." It's right there, right on par. And like these guys, they know they know how to hustle, man.
Oh yeah,
they do.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of hustling, Messi. So Messi, if you live in Iraq, you
money.
I hear you. Now you're learning.
If you live in
Iraq, you'd be the only way you didn't know this if you live in Iraq. Messi's coming to the MLS.
Are you saying that on purpose?
You've been watching a lot of SpongeBob, or talking about Patrick Star here?
I'm specifically talking about Patrick Star.
You might not know.
What I'm hearing is if you live in the country of Iraq.
No, if you live under Iraq.
You wouldn't have heard
under
this if you live in Iraq.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Taliban's bringing them back. Okay,
yeah,
they've been under a terrible rule from the United States recently.
Now Messi is in charge.
Now the Taliban's there.
So Messi's coming to Miami. This is huge for a couple reasons. One, have you ever seen a deal where the TV provider is giving the player a percentage of the money? That's crazy.
Incredible.
Crazy, dude.
That's
crazy.
incredible.
But here's the thing: Apple and Adidas is also giving him percentage of sales, are so smart because they understand Messi coming in boost ratings. It'll boost ratings. It'll boost sales. Like they get it. And then Miami is giving him a way to buy the team, be a minority owner of the team. So that's all part of his deal coming in here.
But there was whispers that early on, months and months and months ago, when this move was starting to be made, that he maybe was looking at coming to Atlanta, or at least that was one of the options, and that Arthur Blank was like, "Oh, I'll have to give up some ownership. Fuck that."
Yeah, that sounds.
I can see that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can see that. But that's crazy. I'm just saying, like, what Miami's doing is crazy, but I understand it, and I think it's super good for the MLS. One, just so you know, tickets for the Atlanta United Miami game that's going to be played in Atlanta, they're like starting at $2,000 now. Like the cheapest tickets are like $2,000 now, which is absurd because typically an Atlanta United game can cost you like $20, like, or cheaper. You can probably go see Atlanta United for cheaper typically.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, as a whole, I think this is good for MLS. It's different than like Schweinsteiger coming over here and Beckham coming in. Beckham was probably the first real difference. When Beckham came over here, it gave the MLS a little what's the word? Notoriety?
Notoriety?
Notoriety. Thank you.
Oh,
Notoriety. Yeah. It gave us a little bit more clout. and a little bit, but like Aaron has said in the past, and it's true, we were more of a retirement league for European players at that point. However, Messi coming over here, although he's not still in his prime, he's still a great player. Like he's still probably going to be the best player in the MLS or close to the best player in the MLS.
I mean, I think this season he will usurp Thiago Almada or
exactly. Yeah, he was a better player on this World Cup team.
Yeah.
Yes. So one, you're bringing the biggest star in soccer over. Two, he's still great. He's not past the post yet.
Yes, I want to interject some stats that boost that, Blake. I was even surprised. I was seeing some people that were a bit negative about his time at PSG.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm seeing this negativity. Let's go check it out. He still scored 16 goals and had 16 assists last year for PSG in 32 games.
Yeah, what?
A
goal a game. He's helping great.
Yeah, so,
and one thing,
but just for his standards, though, like I guess
for his standards, that's lower.
But that's low.
To be honest with you, what's more impressive is the 16 assists.
Yeah,
that's wild. Yeah,
I guess Mbappe scored more, probably, right?
Oh,
that was like
he probably had like a 30
dream
goal
team.
Season.
But I think this is great for the MLS for another reason that you're going to see a boost in revenues, which is going to help maybe have more DP spots. Like we may actually see them increase the amount of DP spots. They might increase the amount of spending we're allowed to do. Like this could be big for like Atlanta United. Maybe we saw us as big spenders before. What if we go out and get one of those people that are trying to go to Europe and instead of going to Europe, they come here? I'm not saying we're there yet.
I get you.
I still probably 5 to 10 years from that. But this is a stepping stone that's going to lead to more players coming over here for sure. And maybe more players before they're at their retirement.
Right.
Who was the last one? Like Zlatan?
No, was Zlatan, yes, but Gareth Bell quietly came over last year and won a championship with LA.
Real quick. I didn't know
Gareth Bell quietly came over here. No, he's like I didn't even realize he was here until like I saw him in the championship. I'm like, what the hell? That's Gareth Bell.
We talked about it on the pod. What
I know, that's what I'm saying. About? You talking about it is what
I don't listen.
made me realize Gareth Bell.
Hayden checks out. If you guys
but to be fair, like
at our screens, he goes and makes a PB&J.
Yeah.
But to be fair to Hayden, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, when he came over, like it was a big deal. And he's like, Zlatan has arrived. Like he made it a big deal. When Gareth Bale came over here, you knew nothing until we talked about him on Blursed.
There's also, who's the other guy that played for DC for a couple of years?
Wayne Rooney came over for a couple of years.
Rooney.
Yeah. Schweinsteiger played for the Chicago Fire for a couple of years.
But like, the difference is like, you said, you brought up Beckham earlier and like he was at the tail end of his game, but the league was so much lesser known then, and like it wasn't as good of a product. So now with Messi coming over, maybe tail end of his prime, or like maybe not, maybe even a little past that, it just like increases visibility, and so like it'll raise like the prestige of the league itself.
Absolutely.
Which it'll benefit everybody in it and everybody that watches it, I think.
Absolutely.
By the way, I just want to go back a couple pages. I looked it up. Mbappe had across all competitions 41 goals last year.
Yeah. It's hard to get more goals for Messi when Mbappe scored 41 of them.
That's crazy.
Lord.
Yeah. That is crazy. But so, yeah, I don't know. I think it's good for soccer. He's going to the worst team in the league. So, like, I don't think it makes Miami like an instant threat to win anything.
They might. I mean, it might.
But they could compete, though, for a little bit.
They got two things going for them. Actually, three, because I want to break some news. No, I'm kidding. This isn't breaking news. I can't say that. It's not confirmed. It's not confirmed.
But say it.
What is the rumor?
But the rumor has it that it's lined up to where Tata Martino is going to take over as coach of Inter Miami.
That's our old coach. That'd be crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's who we just got done talking about. That was really good.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Won us in MLS
There are
Cup.
Whispers in the wind.
I mean, here's the thing: if they can just stay like 6-7 points out of the playoff hunt, come Messi coming, they can make up some ground.
So here's the three things I got going for him. If the Messi coming, right, and he's still really good. If they get Tata, they'll have the best coach in the league. And then third is the fans. Okay, so Messi coming to your team, and the fact that I think I heard all of their home games for the rest of the year after the point where he will show up are sold out
already.
Wow, all their home games are sold out.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you can get tickets on the aftermarket for like
but they're probably super expensive.
$5,000 or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go from having perhaps the lowest attendance in the league. I don't know that for sure, but I've watched 3 Miami games this year, and they look like A's games. So, but in a
or
smaller
Marlins
stadium.
games.
Yeah, or Marlins. Yeah, there you go. The second place Marlins.
Yeah, people
They
forget.
still look like that though. But anyway, they're gonna go from that to having a packed house, raucous crowd, people in there making noise. And we as Atlanta United fans know that makes a difference in performance. I mean, like there's not there is a correlation between the fact that we have led the league in attendance since being a team, and have also been one of the more successful teams in the league in that time.
Absolutely.
And so and you can hear the players say it. I mean, you go, some MLS stadiums don't even hold more than 15,000 people, and then you come to Atlanta and you're routinely getting 40,000.
Yeah,
that makes a difference. So
it does. So their ticket prices soared to $624 for matches in September, which is 10 times more what they were, and that's probably like their bottom ticket prices. And then they went up their past. All right, Inter Miami now has over 6 million followers on Instagram, passing every single NFL team and Major League Baseball team, including like the Patriots. They passed the Patriots. Yeah. And I mean, it's a big deal though. Like that, like your team getting all that notoriety, like it's also going to give them more sales.
Influencers. They can generate some revenue that way.
Their audience is almost as big as Blursed.
Almost.
Not quite. But crazy. And messy things happening down there, but it's good for the sport.
Things are getting messy. Yeah, it is. It is. And I do agree, Blake, that it is different than your normal retirement player coming over.
Yeah, I think so. And I think you might see some more other European players come over. And I think you might see teams like Atlanta who like, shit, they just got that many followers because of Messi coming. Their tickets did that. What if we go get a European name and bring him here? What's it going to do to us? So keep your eye out. I mean, we had that open.
We already sell out though, don't we?
We do, but you're talking about merch sales. You're talking about everything at that point. Just your general, your followage on the social.
Well, plus Hayden, I mean, you could open up the whole stadium at that point, and we could
60,000.
Yeah, we could go from selling out 40 and 50,000 games or person games to 70,000.
Yeah, because they've had 60-something thousand before in there.
No, they had full capacity. Like we hold the MLS record at like 70-something thousand. Like 75,000.
Yeah, it's close to like almost a soccer record for biggest attendance for professional soccer.
Yeah, close.
Jeez,
so, yeah, crazy stuff.
So yeah, big things happening in the world of soccer here in America.
You want to talk about other messy stuff? UGA football.
How about them dogs?
So I heard this, which was pretty alarming. The UGA football team, since Kirby Smart has become the head coach, has over 300 traffic violations. Like,
we're not going to do this, are we, Blake?
Listen, no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm not blaming Kirby for this. Because I'd actually be very curious. The AJC does this like very pretty scathing. Fault. I know, dude. They have a pretty scathing article, and like when you scroll through it, it shows a bunch of people speeding on Athens roads from like footages and stuff like that. I don't think this is Kirby's fault, and I don't think this is like a byproduct of the culture that they have in UGA. What I really do think this brings a question mark to is like, is this an NIL issue? All these like fast cars going to like these 18-year-old kids. So of the 400 traffic violations, a lot of them I don't really care about. 60 of them are for speeding for over 20 miles per hour or more. And then 3 of them are for speeding 100 miles per hour over the speed limit. Which is
I would like to see the statistics on students at UGA in general.
Yeah.
And their
right. Yes.
Tickets.
No, 100%. And are they making it? And like, I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was kind of ridiculous. Is this they're making a mountain out of a molehill here or an anthill? Like it's no big deal.
Or you know what? And to me, it's so insignificant. They're making an anthill out of a fucking grain of rice. Okay.
Right.
Like, it's that like, it was the narrative under Mark Richt, and I hated it then.
Yeah.
And the difference is it was worse under Mark Richt. We weren't talking about traffic violations under Mark Richt. We were talking about kids getting busted with a shit ton of weed.
Gun
charges.
We
were talking about gun charges and much more. I mean, I don't think weed is a bad thing, but I'm just saying, yeah, if in the eyes of the law, weed is a much higher offense than speeding. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I'm just trying to do the math real quick too. Like how long has Kirby been here? It's like
7 years.
Seven
it's like 40
7
a year.
years. How many players are on the team each year? Like
it comes down to like 40 a year, and
I
it's
guarantee you, if by their statistics, they're going to use every single roster player,
Yes.
even the walk-ons, which is over 100.
even the practice
Right.
players, like players
Yeah.
you don't
It
even
gets
you will
over
never hear
100.
of. Yeah.
No,
yeah, and I think you made a great point too. Like I'd like to see Athens in general, how many speeding tickets are doing just college students, because
Yeah.
I don't think this is a coaching problem. I really do think. I mean, if you look at the documentaries coming out about Florida, University of Florida now, they had
I can't
40.
wait.
They had 40 players in that 2008 roster that got arrested, like spent time in jail.
Yeah.
40 players. So like
And
we're
let's
talking
ask-
about traffic violations here.
Let's
Talking
ask
about
ourselves
traffic.
this. Yeah,
Traffic.
Not the
Playoffs,
game.
traffic. We're talking about traffic.
Look, we need to ask ourselves this: do we think down in Florida, down in Gainesville, do you think there was an upstart podcast of dudes talking about the Gators who sat there and were talking to themselves about the Gainesville Times? It may actually not be what it's called. That's the newspaper in Gainesville, Georgia. But anyway, the Gainesville newspaper, whatever it is.
I'll look at this.
Do you think that they were sitting there talking about how the Gainesville newspaper was like, oh, we should give those 2 trophies back because Aaron Hernandez killed somebody, or Riley Cooper's a racist, so we should focus on that, not the fact that Urban Meyer won us 2 championships? No, they didn't give a fuck.
Gainesville Sun, man.
The Sun. Damn.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Gator Aid. AID.
Oh,
Sorry.
pretty
Hating
good.
on
Pretty
fire.
good. Pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's dumb to associate. It's not like Kirby has the time to teach all these kids how to drive. That's not his
Yes.
responsibility
Yeah.
either. It's not like he was in practice and maybe
Hey guys, you
maybe
should
the
all go
players
on
got confused.
race.
He's like,
Yeah.
I always want you guys to play at 120%, and that's why these guys are going 20
They're going
over.
120, yeah.
They just it just carries on off the field.
Also,
I think
who hasn't sped in their life? Like, how many times have you got in your car and went too fast? A little too fast. I'm not saying like I'm not
I
condoning
speed
speeding.
every day of my life. Also,
He needs it.
yeah,
He needs the
Wow.
speed.
I need the speed. I have a need for it.
Too
But
fast,
yeah.
too Aaron.
Also, if my car goes under 55 miles an hour, it blows up.
Yeah, you got to go fast.
Anybody seen that movie? With
I
Speed
haven't.
fans here?
not
Nobody's
seen
seen
that.
Speed? Oh, it's
No.
it's an old 90s action movie with
Add it to the
Keanu
list.
Reeves.
Add it to the list.
Ooh,
Keanu Reeves. He's on a bus that gets hijacked. And
I know this
and the-
movie.
and
Yes.
the dude is like, if this bus goes under 55 miles an hour, it blows up. So
So-
the entire movie is them trying to defuse the bomb
While it's going.
while this bus is just going freaking through LA traffic. It's so sick. It's so
That
90s.
sounds
Oh.
cool.
Jeez, that
Yeah.
sounds like the 90s. Yeah.
Turn your brain off when you watch it. I'm not saying it's like a great story.
It got 7.3 on IMDb.
and it's fun. It's
Wow.
fun.
That's
And
probably why it's a fun ride.
But anyway, yeah, I would also like to say that maybe and this is absurd. I don't actually think this should happen. But why don't we write articles about those kids' professors? Why don't we say how many professors had students that got DUIs and speeding tickets at UGA? in their
Right.
time?
What? Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Right.
wouldn't do that because the professors aren't responsible for it. Now, does Kirby spend more time with these guys than their professors? Certainly, yes.
Yeah.
But my point is, they are not so much role models as they are teachers.
Right. Also, look at him. Look at Kirby on the sideline too. Like he's a no nonsense coach. Like,
Yeah.
Well, at least what he's instilling in them is to listen. I don't think he's out there
I
going,
would
"All right,
hate
I want
to
y'all to
hear
go
the
out there and speed."
conversations that he has with the dudes when they get arrested or
You know he
or-
hates
or taken
it.
No, like I would hate to hear it as
Oh,
far
he's
as like
pissed. Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
how he blows up on them for football mistakes.
Yeah.
He knows that all this reflects on him too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whether it's his responsibility or not, which it isn't. But yeah, he's
Yeah.
aware of that, and I'm sure he preaches it to them all the time.
Well, they have. So part of the thing that I don't know if I have not read the AJC article. I don't plan on reading the AJC article about this. I just saw the headline and I skimmed through it. I will say though, to Kirby's defense, he actually hosts like defensive driving classes for his students. They do all this stuff. They have like people come in and talk about these things, how to be like responsible with your money, he does all these things with his players. So like, I don't think it's a Kirby issue at all.
What more do you want him to do?
Yeah, right.
It's about someone being on top and trying to find anything they can to bring him down to their level.
Yeah,
and
fair.
so I don't know. It's annoying.
Well, you're making a story out of things that like you're tying it to things that yeah, they connect because they all play for the same team, but is that the correlation that causes? Is that the causation though?
Right.
No. Like no. And so I'm
I
glad we're
would
on the same page here.
look elsewhere. Yeah.
All right, y'all want to pass the ball over to the Hawks?
Oh,
Either that or the Braves.
Well, I figure we hit Braves hard at the end because that's
That's
like
fair. That's fair. Let's do that.
Hawks.
call.
y'all. All right, guys. So the new CBA was passed. I'm going to actually read a little bit of this to y'all. So how's the new CBA work? There's now a second tax apron. Teams that are 17.5 million over the luxury tax threshold have restrictions. These teams can't sign players to mid-level exceptions, which that's a big deal because that's like how
What's
PJ
CBA?
Tucker. CBA is the bargaining agreement, collective bargaining agreement. So this is the players,
league and the players.
Yes,
That's
so sorry,
right.
I should have said that. So then MLB, NBA came together with the players and they decided on this. So the mid-level exception is a big deal because that's how players like Gallo got signed to the Boston Celtics, even though they were like already past the luxury tax. That's how
Right.
76ers went out and got PJ Tucker.
So that went up, right?
Well, now if you're 17.5 million over the tax threshold, you can no longer sign a mid-level exception.
Oh,
This is
that's not
hurting
where I thought that was
teams.
going.
This is hurting teams that are trying to go over the taxes by building a super team. So this clause would have prevented Gallinari for the Celtics. It would have prevented Dante DeVincenzo. I can't say his name for the Warriors. DiVincenzo, thank you. Joe Iglesias with the Bucks and John Wall with the Clippers. Like none of that would have happened. These teams can't take more salary back in trades when they're sending out. Previously, they could take 125% of the outgoing salaries. They can't do that anymore. These teams can't trade first round picks 7 years out anymore. So now you can't keep doing this. Like it seems like to me the NBA wants more parity. Like that's what a lot of these results have. But the problem is, I feel like the Supermax is such a bad idea now because now these teams are going to be hand tied to players on the Supermax deals.
Yeah.
Other people might say handcuffed if you were confused by that.
Yeah, hand tied, handcuffed. Either way, these teams can't trade cash in a deal, which that'd be good for the Hawks. These teams can't sign buyout players during the season. This would have prevented 2023 buyout signings of Russell Westbrook, Goran Dragic, Terrence Ross, and Justin Holiday. Contract extensions can now be worth up to 140% of the player's previous salary. Point is, there's a lot more. There's a little bit more to this. There's an in-season tournament they're talking about, but the point is for the Hawks is now we're going to be in the salary tax according to the new CBA, which means as a Hawks fan, get ready. We're going to trade some players that you probably are attached to. So we've been talking about it a lot. If you listen to Blursed, you already know this, but John Collins, trade watch, Clint Capella, trade watch, DeAndre Hunter, potentially trade watch. I saw there's some articles going around with DeJounte Murray. Guys, any article you read that says for the right deal, just understand that 95% of the NBA can be traded for the right deal. Like they're going like
that
Trae
is a
Young,
fantastic point, Blake.
Yeah,
for
like,
real. That's just a clickbaity headline.
You're not trading Trae Young. You're not trading Luka. You're not trading. I'm trying to think of someone else as a cornerstone. Antetokounmpo. Like you're not trading any of that stuff unless the player wants out.
A lot of times, the right deal means you're going to have to give me everything.
Yeah. Like the Rudy Gobert deal, for example. They got first round picks for Rudy Gobert last year. Like that's what they're talking about. Deal. Yeah. So if we're going to trade DeJounte Murray, it'll be probably for 4 first-round picks. It'll be to recuperate what we lost. So don't buy too much of that. However, with that being said, if the right deal comes up, we might sell him. But I will say, like I said, DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, John Collins. Those are 3 players right now. Mark on your list. They could 1 be out of here, 2 be out of here, or all 3 be out of here, and I wouldn't be surprised. So
is that to just get under the luxury tax, or is that to make room for Jaylen Brown too?
Well, so that's the issue. Is one, Jaylen Brown just bought a bigger home in Boston. Take that how you will. I don't know if that's typically means the player staying.
Folks buy land; they ain't making more of it.
That's true too. Maybe he just saw it as a good investment. That could have also been the case. Some people. To get under the tax, you have to move 1 of the 3. But if you look at the player, like if you want to re-sign DeJounte Murray next year, you have to move 2 of the 3. And if you want to re-sign also Sadiq Bey and Okongwu, you have to move 3 of the 3. Like that's just like where we're at. Our money is so tied up with these long-term contracts. You got to move these players. And I'd rather re-sign Sadiq Bey than keep one of those 3. Like he's a better shooter. He can take the ball to the rim. I'd rather keep Jalen Johnson, but not have to be re-signed a couple of years. Okongwu I like better than all 3 of those guys. I'm as much as I love Hunter, and I feel like I'm a Hunter apologist because I love Hunter, and I will make I'll make excuses for him.
You and me both.
Yeah, because you see flashes where like you're like,
do.
that's the next Scottie Pippen. Like he could be that guy. He could be your number two and be. He's just not. He can't do it every night. And I'm sorry, I'll say this about Hunter, and I think the same thing for John Collins. They could both be guys who move on to other teams and do better at those other two teams.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The teams themselves won't be better overall, but they will do better. And maybe they could be better teams. They just don't fit what we're doing.
And
here.
it can still be the right move, even if that happens. That's what a lot of fans don't understand.
Yes,
it's like it's okay if they go somewhere else and maintain that same level or better,
or do better. Yeah,
it just might not be the right thing for us right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's hard for a lot of fans to swallow too. Like, oh, you traded away, blah blah blah. And it's like they weren't going to do that here though. Like same with Kevin Huerter.
Right.
Kevin Huerter would not have done what he did for Light the Beam for the San Francisco. What are they? Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
Sorry, long day. Mondays, man. Monday brain.
Somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
It's been a case for sure. But that's how I feel about it. We'll get more into this for sure. Draft is in 2 weeks, so next week we'll make sure we hit the draft right before. It's really not worth us talking about too much because we're 15th. We're out of the lottery, but there could be a Duke player that lands to us because that's what we like going after in the first round. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I do think you're going to start seeing trades happen though, starting probably next week. And we could be in a trade like draft night. I could see us in a trade with one of these teams that
to move
like
up.
Well, you could see a team like the Pacers who are like, all right, we have a good core now. We have Halliburton. We have Buddy Hield on our team now. We have Miles Turner. Still, he's not getting any younger. We need to make a move to go get like a John Collins because he could be our missing piece. Like you could see something like that on draft night because they don't need that rookie. They want to do what. And for the Hawks, you're going to see a difference. You're going to see us retooling. I think talent wise, we're going to be a less talented team in 2023, but we're going to have more success.
Right.
If that makes sense. And I think both things can be true.
Hope so.
I think both things can be true. I think you can have less talented roster, but they play. I mean, look at Miami, for example. I mean, whether you like it or not, like Miami is not the second most talented team in all of NBA this year, but they play well together and they maximize their value.
Go Nugs.
Right.
Yeah, huge Nugs guy.
I said Nuggets in 6, so I'm hoping Miami.
That's not tonight, is it?
I think it is.
Is it tonight? Hell yeah! I got something to watch later.
Game 5.
Yeah. Yes, tonight. So I'm hoping Miami gets one here because I did say Nuggets in 6, but I don't care. I think Nuggets are the better team. And I think, dude, the Joker is incredible. But yeah, that's all I have for basketball right now. Just y'all need to know that. Be aware that your favorite player could be leaving.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Braves?
Yes, that's all we got left.
Braves. So the title of the shorthand title of this episode, Braves Go Streaking. Yeah, they won 7 straight after some miscues against the A's last week. But yeah, we fell in the last game of the series to the Nats, unfortunately.
Those A's have won 6 straight, by the way.
Yeah, they got
wow,
hot.
Have they?
Yeah.
Wow.
But we followed up that tough week, and we swept the Mets with 3 games in a row where we came from behind by 3 runs at least, which is pretty incredible. And then we took 2 out of 3 versus the Nats, and now we're going to Detroit, a team that has not won in the month of June yet.
Well, we actually won. The funny part, we're
about halfway through this month.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we actually won 5 games in a row from behind. 3 of them being against the Mets, though.
5 in behind, yeah.
It just feels good when it's against the Mets, and like there was some drama early in that series too. Pete Alonso hit a home run off Bryce Elder, and then was like talking shit. Yeah, the whole throw it again thing, and then we came back and won. And then
God, I love it.
There was also more drama in the first inning. The following day, Charlie Morton ran one up and in and got him on the wrist, and now he's out for like 3 weeks. So
serves him right.
It was drawing some there was some tension online about if it was on purpose or not.
I was at the game. And just because I was at the game doesn't mean I know everything. But Charlie Morton just wasn't on that night. Like if you watched him pitch, his command was all over the place.
Also,
he was behind.
He hits a lot of people, by the way.
He does. But he's also like he was behind in every count.
Not even playing baseball.
Yeah,
he's a violent man.
He just likes hitting people. Something else.
The guy just likes hitting.
on the on the Athletics real quick. So they swept us. They got swept by the Marlins right afterwards, which the Marlins, watch out. And then they've won 5 straight since the Marlins swept them.
Oh well, they didn't sweep us. We won one, but yeah,
That's right. Okay, yeah. So they
still
they
though they beat us in a series,
3,
and then
4,
got
5.
swept. And then you said
they've won 5 straight. Yeah,
so 5 straight. Okay,
yeah. They swept the Pirates and they swept the Brewers, and now they play the Rays tonight. So good luck, Athletics.
So just quick maths. Did they go on a win streak that increased their win total by like 30%?
Yes. Yeah.
They're almost double their wins right now.
Incredible.
Yeah. They're 17 and 50.
Yeah. Oh boy.
People say the Braves are streaky, but geez.
Yeah. Look at them
Yeah.
A's.
Look at that. Also, so for everyone else doesn't know, the Mets came into the series against the Braves at 500, and now they're 4 games under 500, and they're 9.5 games back from the Braves.
That hurts. So what are the Marlins back?
They're only 3.5 back. So
that is so cool. I can't wait for a division race.
Dude, also, that's
with
with Sandy Alcantara being awful this year. The Cy Young from last year, he's been terrible. Yeah. I think it has to do with some arm fatigue and stuff, but like he just hasn't been good.
Jazz Chisholm's been
hurt.
Oh, has he been hurt?
He's been in the IL off and on. Like he hasn't been like hurt.
Okay, so that's their two best players.
The headliner is Luis Arias. He's
batting 400.
Yeah, he's hitting 400 still.
Which
is pretty crazy. And like, everybody likes to look at like what is it called? It's like the baseball hot page that shows like all the main stats, and it's like you're either blue in this section, which is bad, or you're red in this section.
Right.
And like his are like all blue, which means like he's not hitting the ball hard, his expected batting average is low, yada yada yada. But he's still hitting 400. So like, it's giving merit, especially this year with the ban of the shift, just putting the ball in play. So that's like becoming a thing again, which is fun. And you kind of saw it last year with the Mets too, with like a guy like Jeff McNeil. He's just really good at like getting his bat on the ball, bat control, and not striking out, putting the ball in play and making something happen.
I'll say that too about him, Alvarez. That's the name, right? He doesn't have he has like 1 home run, I think, on the year, like barely any. Like he doesn't have all the counting stats, but man, does he get hits? Which like you said, I mean that adds up. Also, Solaris batting behind him. He's actually having a pretty good season this year. 19 homers, 258 batting average.
Holy shit, he has 19 homers already?
Yes.
Wow. While we're here, real quick, I just want to brief mention somebody else similar to Arias, like y'all were talking about, and that is Ellie De La Cruz for the Reds.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Dude,
so fun to watch.
Did you guys see him beat out a grounder to first a couple days ago?
Yeah.
You see him get to third?
One of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And him getting all the way to third on what?
It looked like it
should have been double.
Routine double.
A normal double, right?
Yeah, to the right center gap.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure
his first game and his first home run in the league, 470 feet.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So I mean, it's pretty incredible.
The ball he hit went so high, it got on the radar at the nearest airport. It went so high in the air. And I think his brother is Brian De La Cruz, who plays for the Marlins.
Oh, okay, cool. That is
who's batting 295 this season.
Wow, okay.
And having a good year, yeah.
Damn.
So
real quick, let's have a bit of trivia. Not trivia, but a fun fact, a Braves related fun fact that I wanted to tell you guys before I forget. All right. So the other day I was, and by the other day, I mean, I think this was yesterday. I was watching, I was getting a little nerdy with the Braves. I actually watched an extended highlight of a no-hitter that Greg Maddux threw in 1997. Okay. But the stat about that, none of it has to do with the game, really. It was a stat that they threw out there in the game, and it was that up until that point in his career, if Greg Maddux got 5 or more runs in run support, he was 72-2 overall. That was his win-loss record. Up to that point in his career, he was 72-2 if you gave him 5 runs. I don't know. I was just blown away by that. I know that's kind of random, but I wanted to make sure we told that out here because that was
it's incredible,
crazy. And anyway, yeah.
Did y'all enjoy the cast with Glavine, Chipper?
Oh my God, I love it.
Good, right?
What a game that they got to call.
The crown. Oh yeah, what a game!
It was incredible. That was the Ozzy Albies walk off.
Yes.
Oh my God, he
Speaking
got
of
all of that
Albies,
one. Holy shit.
I'm wearing his shirt.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite Brave.
Yeah, he's awesome. Also, someone I want to talk about because Michael Harris on the game I went to last Wednesday, he laid down that bunt for that first hit, then got a double and they got a homer in that game. And he's the reason we won that game. Him and Acuna's defenses. Acuna actually plays defense, guys. Who would have known? That person got flamed all last week after that catch. But anyways, he's batting 300 over his last 7 games. Michael Harris is, and
he got screwed yesterday too. He didn't have any hits, but all 3 at bats, I think he hit the ball over 100 miles per hour, which definitely should be a hit at some point, but just really good defensive plays.
Yeah, he's trending upwards for sure. And I just want to say, like, his batting average up to 190, but it was like 160 to start the Mets series. So it's kind of like 30 points.
That's baseball too. Like, not everybody's going to be hot at the same time. And like, I'm kind of eating crow on Marcelo Ozuna right now, but he's been so good in May and June that it's incredible. And it's brought him back and it's helped carry the team.
Yeah,
and like, you haven't seen as much from Austin Riley this year, but like, he's going to have his streak later.
He's starting to play better too, though. Recently.
He is. Yeah. He's starting to hit the ball better, but it just, you don't want everybody to suck at the same time, but not everybody's going to be hot at the same time.
Right.
So, So you just need to do just enough.
Lineup.
Yeah,
dude. Murphy, I think Murphy and Acuna have been like the 2. I mean, Murphy had the slow start, but still, they've been the 2 like consistencies, while everyone else is kind of up and down, up and down.
By the way, I want to correct myself in that story I just told. I looked it up. It was a complete game shutout, not a no hitter.
That sounds. I don't know if we've had. I don't know the last time we've had a perfect game.
I actually look at part of that of me looking that up. He never threw a no hitter. Believe it or not, he had a ton of complete game shutouts, but he never threw a no hitter.
That makes sense though, because he's a pitch to contact kind of guy. Which is not really a thing anymore.
That was the crazy part in that highlight reel. The amount of ground balls was just ungodly. It was insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to present
bread and butter. I mean, that's kind of what Fried's more of a ground ball guy than a strikeout guy.
Yeah. He just gets guys out. That's why you can see him throwing complete games too, and it just doesn't happen that much anymore. And well under 100 pitches too. So he's kind of like a throwback type player. But I guess one thing on him is he did get moved to the 60-day IL. So it's going to be late August, maybe.
Hey, how about Ass though coming out there?
Yeah, AJ Smith-Shawver. So Mike Soroka got 2 starts in the bigs. They didn't go too well.
Did you hear what AA said? You see what he said? We don't have time for what do you say? We don't have time for him to learn, like right now, like learn on the job. Okay, he's saying like by Soroka, we don't have time for to learn on the job right now. That's why they sent him back down.
Huh.
Seems weird to me looking at staring at our bullpen. We still got Kirby Yates out there, but anyways, I mean, you say whatever to just speak to the media that day. But yeah, AJ Smith-Shawver has looked good. He looked really good in his first outing. I mean, not much more to say about it than that. He's only 20 years old. He started pitching his junior year of high school, which is when COVID was going on. So
absolutely
put that in perspective that he's in the majors already.
Yeah, I'm in for 3 years. That is actually nuts.
But I mean,
what did he play before that?
He played like predominantly third base is what I think I saw. But yeah, I mean,
imagine being the coach that unlocked that. Hey, what if we let this guy pitch?
Yeah, might as well. Just throw a 95 immediately. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Why didn't that happen to me?
Damn, I don't know.
You didn't try pitching long enough.
No, no, I was not. Did not have that arm strength. Not in me.
You're more of a knuckleball thrower.
I would have had to be. I think I pitched a little bit in travel ball, but
I would have had to be.
I was a pitch to contact guy.
Hayden needed to know how to toss it to second and throw it to first. All right. And he was damn good at it.
I could do that half the time for sure.
Half the time.
What else is going on with the Braves? There's been more traction. So like Ronald is like the odds-on favorite to win the MVP this year now. And right behind him is Freddie Freeman. So there's a lot
Freddie's been great.
A lot of scuttlebutt going around about Matt Olson being terrible, which is ridiculous. They're different.
I will
players.
say he is striking out at an alarming rate, and I think that's fair criticism. But
how many home runs does he have?
I would say he still has 18 homers. He's got 45 RBIs, 44 walks.
You know, Blake, birds are dying at an alarming rate. Okay, and I hear more people talking about Matt Olson's average than birds.
Sure.
And you know
You're
what?
not wrong,
That's
dude.
it's a lot more important.
So that's one reason that like on base percentage is more important these days
All
than
right, so let's-
average.
let's
Because like
compare.
he's getting on base with walks, and he's more of a home run or bust kind of guy.
Yeah, listen to this too. He's batting 110 points higher than Freddie. However, he has one more RBI than Freddie Freeman. He has 12 more walks than Freddie Freeman. 40 more strikeouts. I will say that. 5 more home runs, 7 less stolen bases. And then he has less runs. He's at 46 runs and Freddie's got 57 runs. So they just do different things for different
they
lineups.
play different roles on their teams too. So I guarantee Matt Olson's role in this team is to try to launch dingers because that's what he should be doing. Acuna gets on base. You don't want him hitting into double plays with Acuna on first base. Like, I mean, you want him to hit home runs. And in Freddie's case, like he has like Mookie Betts hitting in front of him or like right behind him. And, the Dodgers have a stacked lineup too.
Guys, sorry to interrupt. I'm going to be absent for just a second. There's a spider crawling up my laptop's power cord, and I have to deal with that. So,
good luck. Coming in the back door.
He laughed.
Oh my God. Well, now I'm
not trying to make. So it's Mookie, Freddie, Will Smith, Max Muncy for their lineup.
Will Smith, he's not so the best defensively, but yeah, he's probably one of the best hitting
batting catchers.
Yeah.
But Max Muncy, he is their like their home run guy.
Yeah, Muncy's very good too. But I mean, yeah, I think it's a different role.
It is different.
It's a different skill set, and it's not what people were used to. And there's always going to be a comparison between Matt Olson and Freddie Freeman. But Matt Olson, he might hit 50 home runs this year, and you're going to be okay with that. He could hit 50 home runs next year, and that's what he does if he gets hot at the right time. Yeah. So he's just been cold lately, and that's when you start hearing the comparisons over and over and over again.
And you have to believe the strikeouts will lower at some point. Like he talked about it. He's aware of it. Like he's no harder on himself than any of you. That's what kills me about fans are like, well, he just doesn't even cry. It's like, dude, all these people want to win. Like this guy wants to win. He wants to strike out.
Spider update. I investigated. It was just a jumping spider. So, so I blew a little wind on him and he jumped away.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lived another day
with my mouth.
I don't know the distinction, but
won't kill you.
On jumping spider or not jumping spider?
Yeah. Or him blowing with his mouth.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're the ones that just like they're like light speed. They like jump crazy distance. Spider-Man had a little bit of that in him.
Oh yeah,
a little jumping spider action.
So anyway, sorry about Spidergate 2023 there, folks.
It's all people are gonna be talking about in the next podcast. Comes out. I can't believe that freaking jumping spider. Do you think it was really a jumping spider?
Yeah, right.
That'll be in the comments.
You know what? When we were talking about soccer and NBA there for a prolonged period of time, I kept thinking, I wonder if in AA's free time, he just like starts looking through like league rules of other leagues and just thinking of ways that he could just dominate. Like with the new CBA, like he's got like just in his free time, he's like he's on a flight and he's like bored as hell and he's like, okay, what? Here's like he just circles the new CBA
this
like
how
different
the Hawks
things.
Good.
He's like, and he just like he's gonna like leave it on, what's the guy's name with the Hawks, the GM?
Mail it to
Tony Resler.
Yeah, he's just gonna leave it on his desk or shoot him an email like, "Hey, this is what I found." Like in 20 minutes of reading this earlier.
I mean, you got to think though. I guess the big difference though is like AA. I feel like does he know baseball though? I feel like he's a baseball guy.
I mean, he has to. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
but
I mean,
I don't think it matters.
There's some general managers who can bounce between.
And nobody can question him either because everybody's talking shit, like me included, about holding on to Ozuna so long, and then he came along and now he's playing great.
Yeah.
Orlando Arcia, he played well for a week to start the season. We signed him to a 3-year, $10 million deal or whatever. So we're paying him.
It's like $2.2 million a year,
and he's now like the leading vote getter to be the NL shortstop.
Dude, he's also
crazy.
You know how much Dansby's making this year? Like $25 million. That's how you keep a good team. And like the Mets can't understand it. They can't wrap their heads around it. And it drives them nuts because they're paying their players so much. And they're paying these old pitchers that get hurt every other week. And they get so upset when we sweep them in these series with guys that we're bringing up from single A. over the course of a season. Michael Harris, it drives him nuts.
The funnest thing about the sweeping of the Mets for me was seeing all the Mets fans on TikTok just going crazy about it. And it was so funny because it's not your normal opposing fan video where they're like trashing the Braves. No, in the video or in the TikToks, they're just talking about how like we can't beat the fucking Braves. The Braves are the best team in the world, and then they just shit on the Mets.
They
just
hate
like,
the Mets.
We don't even need to be a franchise anymore. What is his name? Steve Cohen.
Yeah, Steve Cohen.
Yeah, Steve Cohen.
At first, I was saying Steve Cohen should sell the team, but now we just need to foreclose on the team. Just like just shut down the business. Yeah.
Hey, I've said it before, but we definitely need to go to like the tier systems in baseball, like the Premier League or like
baby.
I mean, let them get relegated. Let the A's get relegated this year.
Yes, there's some teams that deserve it.
Yeah.
Let the Strappers come up.
Yeah, man. If they're playing well enough, fuck it. Let them play.
Let this be the
let the boys play.
Let the boys play.
Here's some fun stats for you. Orlando Arcia in 196 less at bats than Dansby, so almost 100 less at bats, has only 7 less runs, only 13 less hits, only 7 less RBI. Walks don't matter. He has half the strikeouts, and he's batting 325 compared to Dansby batting 254. He also has only one less home run
for $23 less million.
For $23 million and 100 less at bats.
$23 million less dollars.
And 100 less at, like, he'll pass all of Dansby's numbers with the same amount of at bats. Like, he's been better than Dansby.
That's nuts.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Dansby is a better defender. I mean, he's an all-star caliber defender. But Arcia is above average defender.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you can see that right away, especially when Vaughn Grissom had to come up and play a couple days at shortstop. And immediately you're like, Arcia is a professional, and he's been doing this a while. Yeah. Okay, this guy is it. It's like I'd never experienced like more dread of seeing a ground ball in Major League Baseball than when that was going on. Dude, it makes you appreciate Orlando a little bit because
it was like 1 week, right? But he had like 5 errors or some shit. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like two weeks maybe. But yeah, I mean, typically in Major League Baseball, if there's a ground ball, it's like 96% of the time is going to be an out.
Yeah. Speaking of, on the Nats win, I think in the Smith-Shawver start, that was the first game against the Nats, right?
No, that was the last game of the Sunday series, I thought.
No, that was Bryce Elder.
It was the first game. You're right. It was. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
I think it was the first game of Friday. And then how the Braves weren't doing much on offense. And then I think it was the 8th inning. We got some guys on base, and the Nats committed like 3 straight errors.
Oh, yeah, I watched that.
And we scored. Do you remember that? Wasn't that how it went down, Hayden?
I didn't watch. I'll be honest.
I think we scored 2 or 3 runs in the 8th while down 1 or 2.
We're winning 1-0 right now against the Tigers
on errors. Oh, I didn't know the game already started.
Bottom of the 3rd.
Wait, are we at home or are we in Detroit?
We're in Detroit, I think.
Okay, got it.
You're thinking of the Friday game.
Yeah, that is what I'm thinking of. The first game against the Nats, but I thought that was Smith-Shawver. Is it not?
It was, maybe.
It was.
Regardless, it was.
You're right. And we scored him in the 8th inning. 2 runs in the 8th inning.
Yeah. I was just thinking of that. I just hadn't seen that in a while. I know the Nats aren't good, but I hadn't seen a team give up like 3 straight errors for the other team to score and win.
You know what's crazy though?
It was rough.
It's weird. For the official end of the game, they only gave the Nats 1 error.
I think one or 2 could have been called a fielder's choice, I guess, but. I mean, the choice was holding the ball and both runners are safe. I don't know.
Maybe they were calling them hits. They were hard hit balls.
Choice. I
maybe
understand that, but
maybe it was
they were like infield plays.
They were,
and then one of them I think got past the second baseman was like a little deep.
Well, the 1-2 hit the pitcher and bounced back on the side, which
did okay. That's not an error. You're right.
Yeah, but still, it was all very error
like a bunch of weird fuck ups.
Yeah,
and shit. Yeah,
that's how good teams win games.
You love to see it.
It is.
Well, that's all, folks.
Oh,
wow.
Are we gonna that's
abrupt end there?
We can let that be it. All right, guys. We'll try to be back next week, but I'm gonna stop making those promises because there's not as much going on these days. We're all quite busy, personally. So we'll try to be here next week. We'll see.
Well,
We love you all,
I'll
though.
at least be here next week. We got to talk about the NBA draft next week.
Tell
at
more
least.
that's
people to
true.
listen.
It
And
might
we'll
be a mini
definitely be here
episode.
more often.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. If you million people would just stop writing us so much, we're
Yeah.
too busy writing back all our fans. It's taking forever.
That's right.
There it
Yeah.
is. Bada bing.
Anyways, have a good week, everybody.
Later.
Before you go, if you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share with your friends. If you'd like to see these mugs, all of our video podcasts are now available on YouTube, where you can like, comment, and subscribe. For more content, follow at Blursed Sports on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You can also follow us individually at Blursed Blake, at Blursed Hayden, and at @A_Kais. If you're interested in chatting with us directly, join our new Discord community by typing discord.io/BlursedSports into your browser. As always, a huge shout out to our music man, Oh No, for keeping the vibe right and laying down straight slappers every week. You can find his information in the show notes. Thanks again so much for listening, and see you next week.